This is a simple print job using a duo color image, and we want our whole print job to be duo colored, meaning we're only going to use two colors for the whole job. If we look at the swatches here, we see a lot of colors that we aren't using, and we probably do not want to leave those in here because they can be confusing to the printer. But for now, we're just going to look at a few aspects of getting something ready to print. If you want to see the colors that are actually going to be printed on this to make sure they're the correct colors, we go to Window, Output, Separations Preview. Now, we don't really want to print all of CMYK. We do, however, want to print black because we only have two colors we're using. Now we have two spot colors here. This is the color that we have in our photograph because we changed it into a duotone. If I take that out, the photograph changes. If I take this out, the title changes. So we need to change this title into the other spot color. Now I can do that probably pretty easily just by selecting the title and then selecting that spot color. But another way to do it, if we need to hold on to those settings, is to look at our ink manager. You can get to the ink manager here out of the separations preview, or out of our swatches panel. It also has ink manager here. So we're going to go to Ink Manager. And here we see the Pantone color that we do not want to be using. If I select it, this lights up down here and I can see Ink Alias. If I pull that down, I can choose the color that I actually want to use. And now this Pantone color won't print, it'll print the color that we want. So I say OK. And we notice after we change that color disappears from the separations preview. So it's no longer being used, and when I remove that color, both the title and the photograph change. Another item that should be looked at before you send to print is to check the overprint preview. If that is not checked, your picture may look different if you're using spot colors. So if you're using spot colors at all, check for overprint preview. And you'll notice that the picture does change somewhat here. Sometimes there will be drastic changes. And so that should always be checked to make sure that your spot colors are going to be printing the way you want them to. The other thing you want to look at is the pre-flight panel. On the pre-flight panel, you can set up your own profile, and on this one we have a profile called Duotone Image that works with this. But we can look at the define. If we look at the definition for that, there's all kinds of things you can check to make sure that those things are all correct in your picture so that you don't have to try to remember everything. You'll notice here I have cyan, magenta, or yellow plates are not allowed. That's to make sure that we're only using black. We have spot color set up. Maximum spot colors allowed is only 1. That's all we want to have on this image. The image resolution, we want a minimum of 300 And the bleed, we want 1/8 of an inch bleed. And those were the main things for this profile. So those things all check out correctly, and you can see that right away. If you have your profile all set up, it says no errors at the bottom. One of the last things that we might do is to put a slug into our image. If we go to Document Setup, we can specify a slug size just at the top for 1/2 inch, and then we can put in some instructions for the printer just to make sure that everything's clear, that this only has 2 ink colors. And we can say they are black and Pantone orange. 021 coated. Now there's no mistaking that this is a 2 ink job. We want to put the print in our slug in a registration color. That way it will for sure not get printed. Now we can package it and send it to the printer. We'll save packaging for another video.